Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome back. It's good to see everybody. Good to see everybody in person. It's thanks for coming out. Tonight we have our second pair programming activity. And so while we're doing Prime Minister's questions and stuff, if you're not actively paying attention or asking or in conversation with me, how about you go and update your checkouts of the Collabs repository? You should get some new code in there because we'll be using that tonight. Let's see here. Really, that's like the big thing. So before we kick off the kata, though, I want to open the floor for Prime Minister's questions. So, what can I tell you? How was Project One? Yeah, we got some thumbs up, some thumbs aside. Okay, good, good, good. People feeling good about it, and I hope like what we talked about on Monday and some of the lectures and stuff were helpful. I've seen lots of submissions come in. While you're pairing tonight, I will go through things. I'll give anybody a heads up if like there's something busted or something surprises about their code. Otherwise, I'll have the graders grade that and try to get you stuff back by Monday. Um, Next week, a week from tonight, Project Two is due. Um, Anything I can tell you about Project Two? Any questions? Yeah, yeah.
We jump to JSON, the text file, and then sort of instantly develop that for our web service, or is that not a good idea?
Oh, good question. Okay, so can you use REST? Well, can I? Let me ask the question a different way. Can you use JSON for your text format?
Right. Like
Yep.
to release
You
track
can.
that.
If what you want to use is JSON, great. Go ahead.
Okay.
Um, are there? I don't remember if there are sort of native ways to. I think there might be native ways to generate JSON in the JDK these days. You can't add more classes, so if there's something that's available to your project right now, go ahead and use it. Writing your own JSON formatter and parser might be a little more difficult than just like choosing a format of your choice, but
You
um,
can't use Maven like plugins to do JSON parsing, right?
right, remember you can't change the POM.xml, so you can't add new libraries, or you can't, have a Maven plugin that'll like generate JSON from Java code or anything like that. Right, I mean the intent of Project Two is that you are learning how to read and write files, and so then you can only use the APIs that are available to you from the JDK or any other dependencies, and maybe you can find one. I don't know. But yeah, probably a good thing to investigate. But if you're spending more than like an hour trying to figure it out, then it's probably better to change tactics and write your own parser. Cool. Nice. Oh, and then question for the REST project. The format. Let's see here. The format for the REST project actually I believe is XML. So it's not you'll be using the XML from Project 4 for the wire format in Project 5. So nice. Any other questions on Project 2? Project 3? That's assigned on Monday too. Don't worry if you haven't thought about it yet. I hope you'll find that Project 3 is a much smaller step than going from 0 to Project 1 or Project 1 to Project 2. Nice. Let's see here. Anything else in people's minds? Yeah. A grading rubric. When I was a kid, they didn't have that word rubric. What you mean, like how? What? Sorry, I don't know what a rubric is. Like the little cube thing from the '80s. No, what's a rubric? So, like, what are you looking for exactly, or what are your teachers do?
How much percentage of the points you assign to what part of the code? So, a point is or a point for
Okay.
correct compilation.
Yeah, I don't publish that beforehand. So when you get that, okay, right, Chris, you haven't seen it yet. So when you get the graded output, will have the test cases, a description of the test cases, some recommended points to deduct for each test case. Like, oh, if you get this one wrong, take off, 0.3 points, whatever, that kind of thing. So, and I don't publish that beforehand because, well, I'm not going to give away the test cases beforehand. I'm just curious though, like, if you had that, how would that influence like your project?
And up until now, we could have like Java also have so many percentages.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
just applying weights to the aspects of the project.
Yep, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, I mean, so things I've said like in the documentation handout, like the POA is worth 1 point, the code coverage is worth 1 point. Then the Java, well, it's not worth. So the way I instruct the graders is like you can deduct up to 1 point. So you could lose up to 1 point if like you don't have the code coverage. But I think by encouraging them to prorate the code coverage, so if you get 50%, that's whatever 0.7 out of that one or something off. Yeah. And similarly for if the Java docs aren't complete, they'll deduct up to 1 point. So yeah.
Is it also correct to assume that most of it will be graded on correctness of the code itself than how the project is built?
It will be graded on the appropriateness of the output of the project. We don't look at the code, right? This is not CS 101. I'm not teaching you. You're not. Oh, you didn't format your for loop correctly. The compiler will tell you that, right? So that's not what you're being graded on. What you're being graded on is the behavior of the project, and does it meet the expectations that were laid out in the assignment, and for things that maybe aren't specifically said in the assignment, like error messages and things like that. Does your program convey a reasonable, according to the grader, output? Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can resubmit. And if you like just found a bug like 5 minutes before class, just go ahead and do it now. Don't worry about it. You can, the policy is that you can resubmit up to one project. So once you get it back, and you're like, oh, that's what he meant, or it's like, oh my gosh, there was like fundamental bug, and like all test cases failed. Yep, we've all been there. You can resubmit that without penalty. So that's the intent there. And you basically have like a week after you get your grade to you get the report that says how your project did to resubmit. Cool. Okay. Well, hey, let's just dive into the pair programming tonight. So we're going to do another kata tonight. It's called the Diamond. So this one's nice and simple, right? Where the leap years one, for whatever reason, like had explained to you what a leap year was in the history and everything like that. Here's pretty straightforward. So you're given a letter and print, and it's an uppercase letter, but print a diamond that has A at the top and the bottom, and then the letter that you're provided as the middle of the diamond, basically. So if you were to print the diamond for C, it would look something like this. So like A would be in the middle, and then you'd have the appropriate spacing to have a row of B, a row of C, a row of B, a row of A. And actually, this is all on the homepage, so I think you can all find it and everything. Any questions? Okay, cool. So in the kata projects, let's see here. That's not the project that I want to look at. That's not the katas. It's katas. Yes. Oops, and let me get on the right branch. So on main, there is a bunch of diamond projects, one for each pair, and just like there was last time with the leap years. And so then once again, figure out amongst yourselves who's what number is what pair. We can do a Google Doc like last time. I can go find that same one actually. Let's see here. Maybe I can find the same one. Yeah, how do I find the same one? Let's do pair programming. Yeah. Let me post this again in Slack. For tonight. Yep, you just want to do it there at the end. Someone could like add a new column, or you can just, well, figure it out. And let's see here. Anything else that you need to know before we get started? Cool. Let's start out. Let's take the first 10 minutes to do some strategizing. So you got to find your partner. Make sure you can both commit. Claim your project, stuff like that. Let's do a 10-minute block of that. Talk about how you're going to approach the kata, the diamond, and then we'll go into the pomodoros of pairing, where everybody will work for 7 minutes, and we'll take a 2-minute reflection and go. Sound good? Okay. I'll be up here keeping time. Okay, here we are in the before we adjourn. I'm really curious to hear about your experiences tonight. This is the second time that you have paired with someone, and last time I'm sure felt like training wheels. But I'm curious, what was it like the second time? So I see lots of great feedback captured here in the doc. But is there anything in particular that you want to call out that you found to be particularly insightful tonight? Yeah.
I think if we're both a little brain dead and trying to figure out the logic of it at the same time, then it's like we're halfway getting thoughts out and then cutting into the obvious side.
So okay. I thought you were going someplace positive with that. I was like, oh, but no. It sounds like, listen, when the problem's a little bit more challenging than last time, and it's like hard to get your head around it. Yeah, it was kind of hard to figure out then how to decide what to do.
Yeah, it's tough, and I think it highlighted the importance of like making sure that we fit into our roles.
Okay, right. So like, why it's good to have a driver, why it's good to have a navigator.
It's tough because last time the navigator and driver were able to stop and
Mhm.
but then when this person needs a bit more time to process it, especially when you like
Yeah.
like just siloing that.
Okay. Yeah. So like leaning into the roles, then saying, hey, I'm the driver, so I know I'm kind of tired, so I'm just going to be the fingers on the keyboard, right? And then the navigator, let them use some brain power and then switch off.
It's like being quiet when somebody's trying to help,
Oh, right. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, right. Yeah. Cool. Hey, good observation. Thanks for sharing that. What else did people find tonight? What else was maybe a little different from last week? Yeah.
I think like the way the problem, this problem is a little harder to tackle than the one last.
Oh, yeah, a little harder. Okay. Yeah. So, what was your testing strategy? So, what did you end up like? Let's see. It was leap years last week. So that was super easy. But like, yeah. So, how did you approach the testing?
So we kind of realized we wouldn't really be able to test the full diamond, so we just tested so much. We made a bunch of
Okay.
estimations run and we tested that.
And how did that serve you? Was that sort of like looking back on it, was that a good strategy, or it's like that was like more trouble than it's worth? What were your thoughts? It worked out well. Cool. Yeah, I like that. It sort of like test one thing at a time, and then yeah, you probably found that when you put them all together, either it all just worked the first time, or that a couple tweaks and got everything to work. Nice. Other people's observations. Let's see here. What are some of the things looking at the doc here that the lab classroom. That's a good point. This is the largest group that I've done pairing with. Um, yeah, having everybody here in the classroom. The course the enrollment's been going up over the last couple of terms. So that's good to know. You're right. It was pretty. It was kind of loud here at times. I agree. And everybody is kind of close. I guess no one was here in the very. I guess a couple people were in the very front row. But yeah, well, and remember, the tables move, and so then if it makes sense to sort of spread everything out, as long as we put it back together again, I think that'll be good. But don't know if it would really help with the ceiling and everything. But we'll have another opportunity to test out the noise level in the future. Let's see here. Oh, nice. So yeah, so like spending more time to figure out the algorithm to build the diamond. So yeah, so was that at the beginning, or when like that 10 minutes that we had at the beginning, was that like helpful, or is it just like now we ended up okay? So yes, that's good. That's an adaptation that I added where originally it was like yep, just 7 minutes, dive into it, and people didn't know where to start. It's perfectly valid. And actually, as we've seen, it's really good to have some time to start. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, good. That's a good observation. And again, that's perfectly fine. You find this sometimes, right? That you're going back and forth, you're coding, and all of a sudden it's just like, we don't know what to do. And it's perfectly fine to blow the whistle and say, hey, we're going to take, stay with it, take it on a time box. And yeah, just sort of plan ahead or go back and, do a deeper look back on what you've done. I think the important thing is that, have that time box remind you that it's like, oh, maybe it's time to do something else. Because hey, I've also been in pairs where like we didn't realize, but we spent like an hour just trying to whiteboarding stuff and everything. Did we really make any progress? Were there a whole bunch of experiments that we could have tried instead of just going into analysis paralysis? So it's good to mix it up. Oh, so yeah, it's not, one pair kind of got stuck into integration testing. Yep, understandable. Yeah, glad people found it to be fun, or some people found it to be fun. Increasing the time between driver and listener. Does that mean like a longer round? Yeah, seven. Yep. Yeah, 7 minutes is tough. And it's kind of all on purpose. And we're going to see it with mod programming too, where you have to balance between like letting each person experience the role, but then as we're also having enough concentration time to really get into the problem. Um, and no matter how long you set the timer for, once it goes off, you're either going to feel like, no, I need a couple more minutes, or it's like, oh my god, I'm so glad that's over. Which, right? And so then, I don't know. So maybe we can try more later. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it can be like unsatisfying. I think as you get more comfortable, you'll be able to go faster and stuff. So yeah, maybe. Well, let's see here. What is next times? The next kata is lags. Oh yeah, maybe there it might make more sense. That's an even more complex one. Might make more sense next time to have a longer rotation. Just remind me to do that, and we can try 10 minutes instead of 7. I couldn't tell from up here. So you do the hands on the keyboard, and then the 2-minute reflection. What were your reflections like? Did you reflect, or you just keep on coding? Yeah, yeah. It's hard to take that pause, isn't it? But I encourage you to have the discipline because what it does, I know, but what it does is that it forces you to look back. And trust me, you want to take that time. That's when you have the insights. That's when you're like, oh my gosh, this design is like going nowhere. Or like, oh wow, look, the next thing we're going to do is going to be really tough. Let's talk about it for like 30 seconds before we dive back in. That reflection is there on purpose to really to again deliberately break the just the back and forth and the hurried coding to give you time to think and your brain to rest a little bit and your fingers. Yeah, probably not. Nice. Okay. Any final thoughts or observations if you want to share? Uh, how much progress you feel you made? Is it like yeah, I get some thumbs up? Are people feeling sort of good about like how they were able to go this time? Good. So yeah, feeling getting close. Yeah, good. And if you're not, that's okay too, right? The goal here is to experience pairing and to understand how to work with someone else to write a piece of code. Okay, well let's take a quick look at what's coming up on Monday. Monday, we're going to start looking at refactoring. This is like, I don't know, I think this kata is super fun. And it's different. Basically, like you get like a really ugly piece of code and you gotta make sense of it and you gotta keep those tests passing and you gotta make it better. I think it's a really great way to learn about code refactoring. So I encourage you to watch, get the material so you sort of understand the refactorings that are available to us, and then next week we'll be learning about the kata, and we'll be doing this whole class. So I'll be up here, writing the code, sort of like taking your input and figuring out how we can refactor. We'll also see a bunch of IntelliJ refactoring tools. Or at least what we'll do over this Monday and the Monday after that. It'll probably take us 2 sessions to really make some progress there, but I'm looking forward to that. That'll be super cool. And then a week from tonight is our final pair programming activity. If you've already done 2 in person, feel free to go remote. If you want to experience remote pairing, and it's a perfectly valid way to pair, feel free to be remote. We'll use Zoom breakout rooms for all that next week. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, in remote screen share, or use Code with Me. I recommend screen share. Actually, it'll probably work best, and actually makes it really obvious, like when you're going from one pair to another. I think that's way of seeing works the best. But yeah, that's all part of the experience. Now that you've gotten some practice, and so thank you for coming in person for the first couple. What every student's told me is that they appreciated the differences between in person and mob after they had a couple of times to do it in person. So that's what next week is looking like. Okay. That's all we got for tonight. So thank you very much for coming in person. Have a great rest of your week and your weekend. Please focus on Project 2 and get it done early because Project 3 is also on its way. Have a great night, everybody. Yep.